Hello, my name is Leticia Budihaso. My student number is 152000021. My presentation title is Becoming a Competent Intercultural Communicator. Before I start my presentation, I'm going to give you the outline first. So the first discussion would be effective intercultural communication. The second one, appropriate intercultural communication, and the last one is it makes two tango. The first discussion is effective intercultural communication. So the first part of intercultural communication competence is that the effectiveness of intercultural communication is possible when the attainment of a goal is concerned. Weismann's explanation that there are 5 components of an effective intercultural communication strategy to increase effectiveness in intercultural interaction, such as 1. Think about what your goals are for an interaction before you engage the other person. It means to know your possible goals, whether to gain the trust of others or just be invited to a party. Second, think about what you need to do to achieve your goals. One way to find out a person's beliefs is by asking questions that you already know the answer to. If you want to be invited to a party, you can give it a sense of desire without having to force it. The third one is try to predict what the other person's response will be to things you might say or do, which means having an accurate perspective when you ask a very personal question of where other people come from in an effort to gain the trust of others who may accidentally lose their trust by showing that a knowledge of and respect for something about other cultural customs can inspire people to be invited. The fourth one is pick a communication approach and try it out. It means trying to come up with an alternative to being able to do a communication approach, even though not sure, because people can tell when there is sincerity in someone that doesn't matter which culture they come from. The last one is reflect back on effective your approach was after the interaction, means learning from experience that can be tried with when you want to find a clear reason if something doesn't match your expectations can help find a better approach next time. The next discussion is appropriate intercultural communication. Not only achieving goals that need to be cared for, but also required to be able to communicate appropriately. Through the use of messages and actions that are expected in these situations can achieve the right goals in intercultural communication, which means that actions and communication are interpreted as meaningful by other people who interact with each other. Wiseman argues by providing three factors, namely knowledge, skills, and motivation. Knowledge, which means having a complete information about people, the rules of communication used in their culture, the context, and the expectations members of other cultures have for interaction. Skills, which means engage in a different style of communication than usual, in that one might say things that are not necessarily believable and behave in ways to allow for feelings to be felt that they shouldn't have been done in the first place. Motivation, which means encourage yourself to be motivated in interactions with people, which can reduce doubts about them. The last discussion is it takes two to tango. Communicating effectively and appropriately is a recipe for building a lasting relationships across cultures. To build a lasting relationship across cultures, it is necessary to communicate appropriately and effectively. Tango can be interpreted as something that is done by two people or a pair simultaneously by looking at the whole picture to find out whether it is successful or not. A dance as an intercultural communication thought can make it easier to remember what others gain from the interaction at each turn. There are times when two people or a pair stomp on each other when it seems your actions or messages don't make sense to take other person, which is a cue in applying knowledge and skills to get the interaction back on track. That is all for my presentation. Thank you for listening. I would like to apologize if I have some like pronunciations or maybe some mispronounced words. Below is the source to help me do my presentation. Stay safe and healthy.